Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Man Without a Title. We're going to start with episode 4 today. And um, we love the idea of of change, right? Everyone seems to think, well, yeah, new house, new this, but eventually, man, realize, okay, I gotta move, right? Well, gotta pack, you gotta do all this stuff. So it gets kind of like a little bit obnoxious, right? Before you can even move in. And that carries over into your own life. Um, so this episode is called The Truth About Change. And um, we love change. We love results. We love the after picture. But nobody loves to really prepare you for what the cost of change actually is, right? Because real change doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't just happen overnight. It doesn't just add things to your life. It also removes things, right? I mean, old habits, your old mindset, old environments. Um, and one of the hardest things that I'm dealing with is old friends, old habits. That's not an easy one either. But, you know, the places I used to hang out, the things I used to do there, um, environment and habit, they coincide. Um, you know, a lot of that stuff, if I'm trying to go one way and people are seeing it, and I wind up handling like a ball and someone comes in and sees me, it's not a very good testimony. It's not a very good role model. It's not a very good sight. Um, but it could tarnish what I'm trying to do, right? It could tarnish a reputation. Um, so, you know, going into this as a man without a title, as a man who's in the same situation I am, we have to realize that we can't play with fire, right? Because one drink, two drinks could turn into, let me get some drugs, and then what you thought was one beer could turn into a alcohol and drug induced night. Next morning, turn into a bender. All your old habits, all your old environments, all your old, everything will just come back, and it'll give you a setback, and it's not worth it to me. Why even play with it? Why even, why dip your toe? If you ain't gonna go swimming, what's the big deal? What, you want to test the water, make sure it's warm? No, it doesn't work like that. And the biggest thing was the the old friends, you know, and old mindsets keep you in evil places. Old environments keep you in environments that you shouldn't be. And the most difficult one for me that I'm dealing with, that I'm struggling with most of all, is old friends. And I was thinking today and dealing with some stuff, and Jesus revealed something to me. Now, follow me here and listen closely to what I'm going to say. What does a ship do? Like a ship, it takes people and things places, right? Takes them places. So, now stay with me. Where are your friendships taking you? Right? Watch who you hang around with, because your friendships can take you two ways. Be careful which way they're taking you. And ask yourself that. Which way are my friendships taking you? If they're taking you the good way, then that means you're a brother and they have the same intentions, they have the same goals. But If they're not, they're going to take you the other way, right? And um, I always think about it. I had a good friend of mine pass away a couple of years back, and he told me something. It stuck with me. He said, "You hang out with 2 millionaires, you'll be the third. You hang out with two godly men, you'll be the third. You hang out with two drug addicts, you'll be the third. If you hang out with two drunks, you'll be the third. So on and so forth. So the old saying, my grandpap said it to me, my papu, my dad, my uncles, he said, tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. And I remember moments, and I remember the moment I realized my life couldn't be the same anymore. There were habits I had to quit, bad habits. I mean, habits that easily should have killed me, and only by the grace of God they didn't. Um, I can think back many times where I know Christ, God had his arms around me, and my guardian angel was there every time. I could have let coming home from the bars. I could have hit somebody and killed somebody, you know. And thank God that never happened to me. Thank God he was looking out for me. And all that stuff that I did and was doing at that time, I thought I was cool. Nah, I'm at home. I'm good to go. I'll do it again, do it again, do it again, do it. Well, eventually, it'll catch up, right? And it never did for me. And I praise God every day. I thank Him because I could be in jail for life. I could have taken someone's life. I could have taken someone's kid, husband, their wife. I mean, just numerous. I could have took my own life. I could have got a bad batch of drugs and boom, OD. Um, you know, just numerous things. And that tells me, speaks to me, and says, he kept me safe for a reason. Why? And I think that's partly why he has bigger things coming. And a season where I felt completely stuck, a moment where I said to myself, this isn't working anymore. And I remember where I was sitting, I remember what I was doing. And then when I learned something very important, something that hit me very hard, right? Is just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's healthy, right? So the bars, I like to go. I like to go have wings and I like to have a beer. And we all say, gotta have a beer with wings, right? And then that turns into, one shot, you know? I mean, we've all done it. And then that shot turns into two. That one beer turns into two. And then from there on out, in comes your old habits, your old friends, your old environment. Everything comes back, bam. And before you know it, the night is snowballing. All of a sudden, you're in a hotel room. God knows what you're doing, who you're with. It's craziness how fast things could go from just a beer and wings to complete chaos. And here's something nobody likes to admit, right? When you start growing, you stop fitting in places, right? You stop feeling comfortable in places and environments with people with certain things, and that can mess with you because you recognize the old version of yourself, right? And you know how to survive there, right? It's easy. You've done it for years. But the worst place you could be in your life is when you can continue to sin and sleep at night. Because when your sin is bothering you, you're in a good place. When you start changing, you're gonna have to. It's gonna have to start letting things go, right? You're gonna have to start letting things that you don't want to let go. You want to hold on. You want to hold on to that friendship, but in your soul, you know you have to let go, right? Because they're not in the same place you are. Okay, they don't do the things you do anymore, or you don't do the things they do anymore, or vice versa, whatever. But part of the growing process of this is not to be perfect, right? You're not just automatically going to be perfect. It's going to take time. You're going to stumble, you're going to fall, but it's what you do after that. If you can fail and sin and just wreck your night, and you can go home and just go to bed and not lay there and pray, God, please forgive me. Like, what did I do? Then you're going somewhere, right? You're going somewhere. But when you do it deep down, and you know you can't stay in that life, that scene, there were people I had to distance myself with. Friendships, like I said, I had to change. My conversations aren't the same, so they don't want to. I don't want to hear it. Places I can no longer be. I feel like I don't belong, right? And the hardest part is just not everyone. This is the hard part. Not everyone can understand your growth, right? Some people don't want you better, right? But God will use people being against you to move you into a place of purpose, right? Don't take it personal, okay? And here's a good one. Maybe you need a Judas kiss to teach you and help you reach your destination, right? The Bible is full of people that had to leave before they ever saw the promise, right? I mean, um, Abraham. Abraham left without knowing the destination. You know what happened there. If you don't, look it up. The disciples, they dropped their nets, no income, no identity, no security or nothing. They left before they even saw one miracle. Whew. Why? How? Faith. Faith isn't just believing, right? Faith is trusting Him when He starts taking things away from you. There was a time of obedience, right? And it felt lonely for you. And the destination that didn't make sense to you at the time, it doesn't make sense to anybody or me, but in a moment that I chose faith over comfort, right? So faith over comfort. Think about that for a second. That's a hard one for me. That man, faith over comfort. Okay, so I am this is just me. So I'm a repetitive guy, right? I like the same thing. I listen to the same songs in my vehicle driving. I eat the same things. I watch the same TV shows. I do a lot of the same stuff, right? So I don't like to change. I'm in the car and my wife puts a song on. I don't know. I don't like it. It makes me. I get mad. I don't want to hear it. I don't know it because it's not familiar, right? So I don't like change, right? And I'm starting to feel now that I'm going one way, and I think everyone else is kind of like a isolating me. Yeah, true. I know you've all felt it. And then when you're in that isolation, you feel that, and when you realize that growth, it is lonely before it's rewarding, because now, hear this, when they hate you, because they will, 100% fact, you're gonna have haters. That just means you're making waves. People know you. But remember, harder times are to come. But I would rather be hated for who I want to become than be loved for someone I no longer want to be. I would rather be hated for someone that I'm becoming than be loved for someone that I don't want to be anymore. Right? And that is something I'm trying to warn you about because no one warned me. Right? And when you see people close to you start distancing themselves, and they're I don't want to go do this, and he don't want to have fun, and that's when you have to stand and really be dedicated to where you want your life to go, right? And again, I want to warn you guys, and it's hard. You will have haters. You will have people you have to leave behind. And it's not going to be easy, right? But it will be rewarding. And the biggest thing for me is even that version of me that was broken, right? Even if that life was holding on and holding me back, it was holding me back. There's still a grief because the old you knew what to expect per se. Me, I knew what to expect, but the new me, phew, that is unknown territory. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's coming. I'm just letting him decide, letting him guide me. I'm following his direction. And as you guys know, I don't like to follow direction. I have a hard time with it. It's difficult for me. I don't like to be told what to do. I don't like to be told how to do something. I don't like to be told any of that. And there was a big fear during that transition that I'm still in. The fear of failing, disappointing people. I don't want to disappoint people. The fear of not knowing who I'm actually going to become. I don't know yet, but I'm going there. But I learned this. Courage isn't being fearless. Okay? Courage is moving forward while your hands are still shaking. And I'll give you a funny story about that real quick. I recorded my first episode, and I had the camera real close, right? For the first two episodes. And you wanna know why? I was shaking after I was done. I was physically, and I went up, got my wife, I told her to come watch it before I posted it. And she said, "Babe, look at your hands." I said, "No, I'm shaking. I can't stop. I'm like nervous." And that was come to pass. It showed me that what I'm saying, that what I was doing, it comes true. But if you're feeling like that you're falling apart right now, maybe you're not. Maybe everything's not falling apart. Maybe everything's falling right into place. Right? If relationships are changing, if comforts are being removed, if old habits are being exposed, wide open, that might not be a punishment, right? It's preparation, right? Because it says in the Bible, God doesn't prune dead branches. He prunes fruitful ones. So if you're changing your life, now it hurts. It's lonely. You feel very misunderstood. People are like, what is going on? Right? But just remember, you're not broken. You're becoming, right? You're becoming something new and something better. And sometimes becoming means walking away without closure, without an applause, without any guarantees, right? But you don't but you don't just walk away and just remember. And when you walk away, you just remember it doesn't matter who you are or what they think you have done or haven't done. God can use anyone, and that means anybody. Elijah, he was suicidal. Everybody knows the story of David. He was an adulterer. Moses, speech impediment, like me. Paul, stuck alone in the prison, right? All by himself. God was with him, nobody else. Jacob was a cheater. Peter had a huge temper. David had affairs. Noah was a drunk. Jonah ran away from God. Paul was a murderer. Gideon was one of the most insecure people in the Bible. Sarah, impatient. So just remember, nobody is perfect. Nobody. But God still loves you. And I'm not sure if you guys know this. Now, please listen closely when I say this. Gethsemane, the Garden of Gethsemane. Do you know what Gethsemane is translated in the Hebrew? It translates into,
Oil press.
so we all need to take a trip to Gethsemane and crush our habits, crush our former life, and put it into the hands of our Father, like Christ did that night in Gethsemane. So powerful, right? And I'm gonna close with this. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Very, very just simple. But tonight, instead of praying, God, give me what I think I need, why don't you pray, God, give me what you think I need? What He knows I need, right? This is Man Without a Title, and not having a title doesn't mean you don't have a calling. Just remember that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next episode. And again, I keep saying it. Like, comment, share down below. It's on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I'm all over. Reach out, message me, DM if you have any questions or comments or anything like that. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I appreciate it. Have a great night.